The cargo ship, Busan's Pride, floated through the darkness of space like a whale swimming through an endless ocean. Captain Tae Yang sat in his chair on the bridge, watching the stars drift past the windows. His ship was not fancy or new. It was a working vessel, built to carry things from one place to another. Today, they were hauling mining equipment to New Jeju, one of humanity's colony worlds. Tai Yang was a tall man with dark hair starting to gray at the temples. He had been a ship captain for 12 years, and he liked the quiet life of space travel. Most days were peaceful and boring, which was exactly how he preferred them. "Captain, we're making good time," said Hyejin from her station. She was his second in command, a sharp woman who never missed a detail. "We should reach New Jeju in 48 hours. "Good," Ta Yang replied. He stretched in his chair, his back making a small cracking sound. "Maybe we can actually have a boring trip for once." In the engine room below, Sung Ho was checking the reactor readings. He was a short, stocky man who loved machines more than people. The engines hummed smoothly under his care. He wiped grease from his hands and smiled. Everything was running perfectly. Nari, the ship's doctor, sat in the medical bay reading a book on her tablet. She was young for a ship's doctor, only 28, but she was very good at her job. Her medical bay was clean and organized, with everything in its proper place. She hoped it would stay empty this trip. Jin Woo, the navigator, was the youngest member of the crew at 24. He sat at his station, making small adjustments to their course. Flying through space required constant tiny corrections, and he enjoyed the precision of it. The peaceful moment ended when an alarm beeped on Hyejin's console. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," she said, leaning forward. "It's a transmission, but it's not in any human language." Tae Yang sat up straight. "Can you play it?" The bridge speakers crackled to life. A voice came through, high-pitched and frightened. The words were alien, but the computer started translating them into Korean. "This is the trading vessel, Gentle Current. We are under attack. 3 warships. They call themselves the Vresh. We are peaceful traders. We have no weapons. They are destroying us. Please, anyone who receives this message, we are dying. They show no mercy. Our coordinates are attached. Please, help us." The message repeated. In the background, they could hear explosions and screaming. The bridge fell silent. Tae Yang looked at the screen showing the coordinates. The ship in trouble was 3 hours away at maximum speed, but it was in the opposite direction from New Jeju. "Sir," Hyejin said quietly, "we're not a military ship, we're a cargo hauler." "I know what we are," Ta Yang said. He pressed the intercom button. "Sung Ho, Nari, Jin Woo, get to the bridge now." 5 minutes later, his whole crew stood on the bridge. Tae Yang played the distress call again. When it finished, everyone looked uncomfortable. "We've never met aliens before," Jinwoo said nervously. "No human has. We don't know what we're dealing with." "We know someone is dying and asking for help," Nari said firmly. "That's enough, isn't it? Earth's United Space Council says we should avoid contact with unknown species," Hyejin reminded them. "We're supposed to observe and report, not engage." "The council isn't here," Ta Yang said. "We are. And someone is dying 3 hours away from us." Sung Ho crossed his arms. "Captain, even if we go there, what can we do? We're a cargo ship. We have no weapons except some small arms in the locker. If there are 3 warships attacking them." "Then we'll figure something out when we get there," Ta Yang interrupted. "I didn't become a ship captain to ignore people crying for help." Hyejin stepped closer to him. "Sir, this could start an interstellar incident. We could die. The company will be furious about the delayed delivery." Tae Yang looked at each of his crew members. "I'm not ordering anyone to come. This is my decision. If anyone wants to take a shuttle and continue to New Jeju, I understand. But I'm going to answer that distress call." Nobody moved. After a moment, Hyejin smiled slightly. "If we ignore this, what does that say about humanity? About us? I'm with you, Captain." "My engines can handle it," Sung Ho said with a shrug. "Let's go save some aliens." "I'll need to prepare the medical bay," Nari added. "We don't know alien biology, but I'll do what I can." Jin Woo took a deep breath. I guess I'm plotting a new course then. Maximum speed to those coordinates. Tae Yang felt proud of his crew. Then let's move. Jinwoo, change course. Sung-ho, I need everything you can give me from the engines. Heejin, try to analyze that transmission. See if you can learn anything about who sent it or who's attacking them. Nari, get ready for casualties. The ship came alive with activity. Jinwoo's fingers flew across his controls, entering the new course. The Busan's Pride began to turn, its massive bulk slowly changing direction. In the engine room, Sung-ho pushed the reactor to maximum output. The engines roared louder, and the ship began to accelerate. "Come on, baby," he whispered to his machines. "We've got people to save." Heejin worked on analyzing the alien transmission. The computer slowly built a basic translation program. She learned that the aliens called themselves Talaran, and they were traders traveling between worlds. The attackers, the Vresh, seemed to be raiders who stole from other ships. Nari prepared the medical bay for anything. She set out beds and gathered all her equipment. She had no idea what alien biology would be like, but she would do her best. 3 hours felt like forever. The crew worked in tense silence, each person focused on their task. Tai Yang sat in his captain's chair, watching the countdown timer. He wondered if they were doing the right thing. He wondered if they would arrive too late. He wondered if they would all die trying to help strangers they had never met. But he knew he couldn't live with himself if he didn't try. "Approaching the coordinates in 5 minutes," Jinwoo announced. His voice was steady, but his hands shook slightly on the controls. "Everyone, battle stations," Tae Yang ordered. "Hyejin, try to scan the area as soon as we drop out of faster-than-light travel. I want to know what we're walking into." The crew strapped into their seats. The ship began to slow down, preparing to return to normal space. Tae Yang gripped the armrests of his chair. Whatever they found on the other side, there was no turning back now. Humanity was about to make first contact with alien life, and it was going to happen in the middle of a battle. "Here we go," Jinwoo whispered. The stars stopped stretching, and reality snapped back into focus. Alarms immediately started blaring across the bridge. The scene before them was like something from a nightmare. 3 sleek black ships circled around a smaller vessel that was clearly dying. The smaller ship had holes torn in its side, and air and debris were leaking into space. Small fires flickered through the breaches, quickly dying in the vacuum. "Those must be the Vresh warships," Hyejin said, her voice tight. "They're firing on the Talaran ship even though it's already disabled." Tae Yang felt anger rise in his chest. "Hail them, both the attackers and the victims. Let them know we're here." Hyejin worked her console. After a moment, 2 communication channels opened. On one screen appeared a Viresh warrior. It looked like a cross between a lizard and a wolf, with dark scales and sharp teeth. Its eyes were cold and cruel. On the other screen was something completely different. The Talaran was small and delicate, almost like it was made of crystal. It stood only about 4 feet tall, and its skin seemed to shimmer with soft colors. The creature looked terrified and exhausted. "I am Captain Tae Yang of the human vessel, Busan's Pride," Tae Yang said firmly. "Stop your attack immediately." The Vresh warrior laughed, a harsh barking sound. "Human? We have never heard of your species. This is none of your concern. Leave now or be destroyed." The Talaran spoke quickly, its voice musical but frightened. "Please, unknown ship, you must flee. You cannot help us. There are 3 of them, and only one of you. Save yourselves." "We're not leaving," Tae Yang said. He looked at the Viresh. "I'm giving you one more chance. Stop your attack and withdraw." The Viresh warrior showed its teeth. "Foolish creature, you will die with them." The screen went black. "They're targeting us," Hyejin shouted. "Weapons lock detected." "Jinwoo, evasive maneuvers. Sung-ho, give me everything the engines have." Tae Yang gripped his chair as the ship lurched to the side. The first weapons blast passed where they had been just a second before. Jinwoo's hands flew across the controls, throwing the ship into a hard turn. The crew felt the G-forces push them into their seats. "They're faster than I expected," Jinwoo said through gritted teeth. Another blast hit their shields, making the whole ship shake. In the engine room, Sung-ho pushed the reactor higher. Warning lights flashed all around him, but he ignored them. "Come on, give me more," he muttered, adjusting the power flow. The reactor climbed to 110% capacity. Most ships would have exploded by now, but human engineering was built tough. "Captain, our reactor output is much higher than theirs expected," Hyejin reported, looking at her sensors. "I think they're surprised we're still here." "Good," Taeyang said. "Let's surprise them more. Jinwoo, take us straight at the nearest Vresh ship." "Sir?" Jinwoo's eyes went wide. "You heard me. Right at them." Jinwoo swallowed hard and changed course. The Busan's Pride accelerated toward the nearest black warship. The Vresh ship fired again, but Jinwoo dodged at the last second. The distance between the ships closed rapidly. "They think we're crazy," Hyejin said with a grim smile. "Maybe we are," Taeyang replied. "Fire everything we have." The cargo ship was not built for war, but it had some defensive weapons. They fired their small railguns and missiles. The shots were not powerful, but they were unexpected. The Vresh ship's shields flickered as the weapons hit. "Now, hard turn," Taeyang ordered. Jinwoo pulled the ship into a sharp curve that would have killed most alien crews. The G-forces pressed everyone back into their seats. Nari, watching from the medical bay, had to grab the wall to keep from falling. The maneuver was brutal, but every human on board had grown up in Earth's heavy gravity. Their bodies could take it. The Vresh tried to follow, but they could not match the aggressive turn. One of their ships overshot and crashed into the debris field from the Tilleran vessel. "One ship damaged," Hyejin reported. "The other two are regrouping." On the Tilleran ship, the crew watched in amazement. Their captain, Velmara, stared at the human vessel performing maneuvers that should have killed everyone aboard. "What are they?" he whispered. The second Vresh ship moved to intercept the Busan's Pride. It fired a heavy plasma weapon that slammed into their shields. The human ship rocked hard, and several consoles exploded in showers of sparks. "Shields at 40%, Hyejin called out, wiping blood from a cut on her forehead. "Sung-ho, can you give me more power to shields?" Taeyang asked. The engineer's voice came through the intercom. "I can, but the reactor will go critical." "Do it anyway." In the engine room, Sung-ho did something that would have made any alien engineer scream in horror. He diverted power from life support and weapons directly into the shields and engines. The reactor climbed to 120%. By all the laws of physics known to the galaxy, it should have exploded. But human reactors were built to take punishment. The shields strengthened just as another plasma blast hit. The ship held together. "Their weapons should have destroyed us by now," Hyejin said, checking her readings. "I think our ship is built tougher than they expected." "Earth builds everything tough," Taeyang said. "We don't have a choice. Our planet tries to kill us every day." The third Vresh ship was circling around to attack from behind. But before it could fire, the damaged Tilleran vessel managed to launch a distress drone. The small device flew toward the Busan's Pride. "Captain, the Tilleran are sending us their ship schematics and a message," Hyejin reported. "They say their crew is trapped in the cargo bay. If we can rescue them before the ship explodes..." Taeyang made a quick decision. "Hyejin, you have command of the bridge. I'm taking a boarding team to get those people out. Jinwoo, get us close to their cargo bay. Sung-ho, meet me at the airlock with pressure suits." "Sir, that's too dangerous," Hyejin protested. "Those people answered a distress call just like we did," Taeyang said, already moving toward the door. "They're traitors, not soldiers. We're not leaving them to die." 5 minutes later, Taeyang and Sung-ho stood in the airlock wearing heavy pressure suits. The Busan's Pride pulled alongside the dying Tilleran ship, matching its spin. Jinwoo flew with incredible precision, keeping the two ships close despite the danger. "On my mark," Jinwoo said. 3, 2, 1, mark." Taeyang and Sung-ho jumped across the gap between ships. They hit the Tilleran hull and grabbed onto the damaged metal. Working quickly, they cut through the hull into the cargo bay. Inside, they found 43 Tilleran huddled together. The small crystalline beings looked at the humans with wide, frightened eyes. They had never seen anything like these tall, heavy creatures in their bulky suits. "We're here to help," Taeyang said through his suit speaker. The translation program converted his words into Tillaran language. "We need to get you to our ship, now." The Tillaran captain, Velmara, stepped forward. "You came back for us, while being attacked?" "We're not leaving anyone behind," Taeyang said. "Can your people move quickly?" "Yes, but you should not risk yourselves for us." "Too late, we're already here. Let's go." Sungho set up a cable line between the two ships. One by one, the Tillaran crew pulled themselves across to the Busan's Pride. They were light and moved easily in zero gravity. Back on the bridge, Hyejin was fighting off both remaining Vresh ships. "Captain, you need to hurry. Their ship is going to explode any second." The last Tillaran made it across. Taeyang and Sungho jumped back to their ship just as the Tillaran vessel's reactor went critical. The explosion lit up space like a small sun. The blast wave hit the Vresh ships, damaging them badly. The two warships retreated, deciding that this strange new species was too much trouble. The Busan's Pride limped away from the battle, its shields down and several systems damaged, but everyone was alive. Taeyang pulled off his helmet and smiled. The medical bay of the Busan's Pride was crowded with Tillaran survivors. Nari moved between them, doing her best to treat injuries despite knowing nothing about their biology. The crystalline aliens were so different from humans that she had to improvise every treatment. "Hold still," Nari said gently to a young Tillaran who had a crack in its arm. The translator converted her words into musical tones. She carefully wrapped the injury with a soft bandage, hoping it would help. The Tillaran looked up at her with large, shimmering eyes. "You are so tall," it said in wonder. "And your gravity, how do you stand it?" Nari looked confused. "What do you mean? This is normal gravity." The young Tillaran shook its head. "No, this is crushing. We can barely move. Your ship feels like it is pulling us down into the floor." Nari realized the ship's artificial gravity was set to Earth standard. To these delicate beings, it must feel incredibly heavy. She made a note to lower the gravity in the cargo hold where most of the Tillaran were resting. Captain Velmara stood with Taeyang on the bridge. The Tillaran captain was barely chest-high to the human, and he kept staring at Taeyang with amazement. "I must know," Velmara said. "What world could create beings like you? You fought 3 Vresh warships with a cargo vessel. You performed maneuvers that should have killed everyone aboard. You jumped across space to save us while under attack. This is not normal behavior." Taeyang shrugged. "We just did what needed to be done. We're from a planet called Earth." "May I access your databases? I wish to learn about this Earth." "Sure," Taeyang said, not thinking it was important. He gave Velmara access to the ship's public files about Earth. What happened next surprised everyone. Velmara began reading the data about Earth, and his shimmer changed from soft blue to bright red. Other Tillaran gathered around him, reading over his shoulder. Soon, they were all making distressed sounds. "What's wrong?" Hyejin asked, concerned. Velmara looked up at the humans with what might have been horror. "This cannot be real. No species could evolve on such a planet. It must be a mistake in your data." "What are you talking about?" Taeyang asked. "Your planet," Velmara said, his voice shaking. "The gravity is 1.3 times the galactic average. Your atmospheric pressure swings wildly. You have storms with winds that reach 300 kilometers per hour. Your planet has massive electrical discharges from the sky that can kill. The ground itself shakes and splits open. Mountains explode with liquid rock. Your moon creates waves in your oceans tall enough to destroy cities, and you have seasons with temperature changes of 60 degrees. The humans looked at each other, confused. "Yeah," Sungho said. "That's Earth." "So what? So what?" Velmara's voice went higher. "Any one of those conditions would make a planet unlivable. Your world is a nightmare. How do your people survive?" Taeyang was starting to understand. "What are your planets like?" Velmara brought up images of the Tillaran homeworld. It was beautiful, with calm seas and gentle weather. "Our world has stable weather, low gravity, and no dangerous predators. This is normal for civilized species. We have surveyed 47 spacefaring species, and all evolved on what we call garden worlds. Show me the classification system, Heejin said, her scientific curiosity taking over. Velmera displayed the Galactic Habitability Scale. Worlds were rated from Class 1 to Class 10. Class 1 was perfect and safe. Class 10 was barely survivable. Most spacefaring species came from Class 1 through Class 4 worlds. Where would you rate Earth? Tae-yang asked quietly. Velmara was silent for a long moment. If I am honest, Earth does not fit on our scale. We would need to create a new category. Perhaps Class 12. We would mark it as an extreme hazard world, a death world. No sane species would try to colonize it. But we're from there, Jinwoo said. We were born there. Exactly, Velmara said. That is what terrifies me. Your species did not just survive a death world. You conquered it. You made it yours. What kind of beings does that create? Nari came to the bridge with a medical report. Captain, I need to talk to you about the Tiller in biology. They're incredibly fragile compared to us. Their bones are light and break easily. Their internal organs are delicate. They have almost no ability to heal from injuries, and they have no immune system. No immune system? Tae-yang repeated. How is that possible? Their world apparently has very few diseases, Nari explained. They never needed to develop defenses against microscopic organisms. Velmara nodded sadly. We are a peaceful species because our world is peaceful. We have no large predators. We have no violent weather. We have no diseases. We never learned to fight because we never needed to. Heejin was reading more about galactic species. Captain, according to this, war is extremely rare among spacefaring civilizations. Most conflicts are resolved through talking and economic pressure. The Varesh are considered unusually violent, and they only raid occasionally. The Varesh come from a Class 3 world, Velmera said. It has some predators and moderate climate variation. They are the most aggressive species we know. Until now. He looked at the humans with a mixture of fear and respect. We're not violent, Tae-yang protested. We just defended ourselves. You rammed a warship with a cargo vessel, Velmara said softly. You jumped across space during a battle. You exposed yourselves to vacuum without hesitation. You flew maneuvers that created enough force to crush my people into paste. And you did all of this while treating it as normal, as something any person would do. Sung-ho laughed. Well, Earth has been trying to kill us since our ancestors lived in trees. We learned to kill back. It's just how we survive. The Talaran in the room all made sounds of distress at this casual statement. To them, the idea of a planet actively trying to kill its inhabitants was pure horror. Let me understand, Velmara said carefully. Your species evolved while fighting against terrible weather, deadly animals, crushing gravity, and invisible diseases? Yes, Nari said. And we developed very strong immune systems because we were constantly sick. Our bodies learned to fight microscopic invaders every single day. You have warfare happening inside your bodies at all times? A Talaran medic asked, shocked. Well, yes. Bacteria and viruses are everywhere. Our immune system kills them constantly. The Talaran medic looked faint. That sounds horrible. It's normal for us, Nari said with a smile. Our bodies are built to fight, to endure, to survive. Hyejin was putting pieces together. So the Varesh expected us to be like you. Fragile and easily damaged. But we're built to survive Earth. Our bones are dense and strong. Our organs are protected. We can take impacts and keep going. We can survive in high G-forces because we evolved in heavy gravity. And you can think clearly while in pain and fear, Velmara added. We saw you working efficiently while your ship was being destroyed around you. Most species would panic and freeze, but you just kept fighting. Tae-yang was starting to feel uncomfortable. We're not monsters, we're just people. I did not say you were monsters, Velmara said gently. I said you are Deathworlders. There is a difference. You are what happens when a species must become strong to survive. And now I understand why you answered our distress call. On a death world, you must help each other or everyone dies. Cooperation is not just moral for you. It is survival. Those who can help should help, Taeyang said. It's just the right thing to do. But do you see? Velmara pressed. Most species do not think this way. They calculate risk and benefit. They make careful decisions. But you did not calculate. You heard someone dying and you came immediately. This is Deathworlder thinking. This is how you survive impossible odds. Jin Woo spoke up. So you're saying humans are different from other species because Earth is a terrible place to live? Not terrible, Velmara corrected. Challenging. Your world challenged you every day, and you rose to meet those challenges. You became adaptable, resilient, and strong. But you also became cooperative and protective of others. You are, in many ways, the most dangerous species we have ever encountered, and also, perhaps, the kindest. The bridge fell silent as everyone absorbed this information. Humanity had always wondered what they would find among the stars. They never expected to find out that they were the scary ones. What happens now? Hyejin asked. Will other species fear us? Some will, Velmara said honestly. But others, like my people, will see you as potential allies. You saved us when you had no reason to. You risked everything for strangers. That matters more than how strong you are. We need to take you somewhere safe, Taeyang said. Where can we bring you? Velmara's shimmer changed to gold, which apparently meant determination. Take us to the Council of Worlds. The galaxy needs to know about humanity, and humans need to know about the galaxy. It is time for proper introductions. The journey to the Council of Worlds took 5 days. During that time, 6 Talaran diplomatic ships arrived to escort the Busan's Pride. The human crew spent those days learning about the galaxy they had just entered. Taeyang sat in his cabin, reading reports about the 47 known spacefaring species. Each one was so different from humans. The Karathi were insect-like beings who communicated through smell. The Paloxan lived underwater and needed special suits to walk on land. The Dren were plant-based and got energy from light. None of them came from worlds as harsh as Earth. There was a knock on his door. Come in, he called. Hyejin entered, carrying a tablet. Captain, I've been studying galactic politics. We need to talk about what might happen when we reach the Council. What do you mean? The Council operates on consensus and careful diplomacy, Hyejin explained. They spend months debating simple decisions. They avoid conflict at all costs. And for the past 3 generations, they've been paying tribute to the Varesh to prevent attacks. Taeyang frowned. They pay the raiders instead of fighting them? From their perspective, it makes sense. Fighting is dangerous and expensive. Paying tribute is safer, but we just attacked the Varesh. We broke their system. We saved innocent people. I know, but the Council might see it differently. They might see us as dangerous warmongers who will disrupt the peace. Taeyang rubbed his face tiredly. So we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. Maybe, Hyejin said. But Velmara is on our side. The Talaran are respected traders. Their word carries weight. The Busan's Pride finally arrived at the Council station. It was enormous, a massive ring in space large enough to hold a small moon. Thousands of ships surrounded it, representing species from across the galaxy. This is amazing, Jinwoo whispered, staring at the view. They docked at a special berth, and Velmara guided them through the station. Everywhere they went, aliens stopped and stared at the humans. Some looked curious. Others looked afraid. A few looked hostile. They know what we did, Nari said quietly. News travels fast. Let them stare, Sungho replied. We did the right thing. The council chamber was a vast circular room with seats rising in tiers. Representatives from all 47 species sat in their designated areas. At the center was a raised platform where speakers could address the council. Velmara led Taeyang and his crew to the center platform. Thousands of alien eyes watched them. Taeyang felt nervous but stood tall. His crew gathered around him, showing a united front. A Talaran elder stood up, shimmering with rainbow colors. Members of the council, I present to you Captain Taeyang and the crew of the human vessel Busan's Pride. 5 days ago, they answered our distress call and saved 43 Tilleran lives from Vresh raiders. Murmurs filled the chamber. A Karathi representative, smelling of sharp spices, spoke. They also attacked 3 Vresh warships. This is an act of war. It was self-defense, Taeyang said firmly. And the defense of innocent traitors. A large, slug-like paloxin made bubbling sounds through its translator. We know nothing about humans. Where do you come from? What are your intentions? Taeyang took a deep breath. We come from a world called Earth. We achieved faster-than-light travel only 15 years ago. We have 3 colony worlds. We came to this region of space for trade and exploration, not conquest. When we heard the Tilleran distress call, we responded because it was the right thing to do. Show us your world, demanded Adren, its leaves rustling. Hye-jin brought up Earth on the main display. The blue and green planet rotated slowly. She began listing Earth's characteristics: the gravity, the weather patterns, the tectonic activity, the dangerous wildlife. The council chamber erupted in shocked sounds from 47 different species. Many representatives stood up, making distressed noises. This is a Class 12 death world, the Paloxan shouted. How can you claim to be peaceful when you evolved in such violence? Earth shaped us, Taeyang admitted. It made us strong and adaptable. But it also taught us to work together. On Earth, you help your neighbor or everyone dies. We learned cooperation through necessity. A Tilleran diplomat stood. I have spoken with the rescued crew. The humans did not have to save us. They were not paid. They expected no reward. They risked their lives for strangers because, as they say, it was the right thing to do. Is this not the highest form of civilization? Arguments broke out across the chamber. Some species wanted to welcome humanity. Others wanted to restrict them to their solar system. The debate raged for hours. Then the chamber doors opened and a Vresh ambassador entered. It was large and intimidating, covered in scars from old battles. The room fell silent. The Vresh Dominion has been patient with this council's weakness, the ambassador growled. We take what we want because you are too soft to stop us. Now these humans appear and attack our ships. This cannot stand. You were murdering innocent traitors, Taeyang said coldly. We stopped you. You are one small ship, the Vresh said. We are a war fleet. If you want the council to accept you, prove you deserve respect. What are you proposing? The Tilleran elder asked carefully. A challenge, the Vresh ambassador said. One of our warships against one human ship. Combat to surrender or destruction. If the humans win, we will acknowledge their strength and leave this sector. If we win, humanity will be restricted to their home system forever. The council erupted in debate again. Many species thought the challenge was barbaric. Others saw it as a way to resolve the tension without wider war. Taeyang looked at his crew. They all nodded. We accept, he said. Captain, no, Velmara protested. You have already done enough. You do not need to prove anything else. Yes, we do, Taeyang said. Not to them, to ourselves. Humanity came to the stars to be part of something larger. We can't do that if we're locked in our solar system. The Varish ambassador showed its teeth. You have 2 weeks to prepare. The challenge will be held in the neutral zone. All council species will observe. After the council session, Velmara found Taeyang in the station's observation deck. You should not have accepted that challenge. The Vrish are the most powerful military force in known space. We don't have a choice, Taeyang said, watching ships move around the station. If we run now, humanity will always be seen as weak. We'll never be taken seriously. You could die. Maybe, but at least we'll die trying to do something important. Velmara's shimmer turned sad blue. Deathworlders, he said softly. You truly do not fear death the way we do. We fear it, Taeyang corrected. We just don't let fear stop us. Over the next 2 weeks, the Busan's Pride underwent repairs and upgrades. Sung-ho worked day and night in the engine room, pushing the reactor to new limits. Jin-woo studied Vresh combat recordings, learning their tactics. Nari trained the crew in emergency medical procedures that made alien observers uncomfortable with their brutality. Hyejin developed combat strategies using human military doctrine. The galactic news networks covered the upcoming challenge constantly. Humanity became famous overnight. Some species cheered for them, others bet against them. Everyone wanted to see what the Deathworlders could do. On the day of the challenge, Tai Yang stood on the bridge in a clean uniform. His crew was ready. The ship was as prepared as it could be. "We're not just fighting for ourselves," he told his crew. "We're fighting for every human who dreams of walking among the stars. For every child on Earth who looks up at night and wonders what's out there. We're going to show the galaxy what humanity is made of." "No pressure," Jinwoo joked nervously. Sung Ho cracked his knuckles. "Let's show these aliens how Earth's children fight." The Busan's Pride left the station and headed for the neutral zone. Behind them, thousands of observation ships followed at a safe distance. The entire galaxy was watching. In the neutral zone, a massive Vresh warship waited. It was called the Blood Talon, and it was 3 times larger than the human cargo vessel. It bristled with weapons and had shields that could withstand plasma torpedoes. The Vresh captain's face appeared on screen. "Last chance to surrender, human," Tae Yang smiled. "We don't know how to do that. It must be an Earth thing." The Vresh captain snarled. "Then die with honor." Both ships powered up their weapons. Across the galaxy, billions of beings watched their screens. The greatest challenge humanity had ever faced was about to begin. The neutral zone was a region of space filled with asteroids and old debris from ancient battles. The Blood Talon hung in the void like a predator waiting to strike. Its black hull seemed to absorb light, and its weapons glowed with barely contained energy. The Busan's Pride looked small and fragile by comparison. It was a working ship built to carry cargo, not fight wars. But inside that ship were 5 humans who had spent their whole lives learning to survive the impossible. "Distance, 50 kilometers in closing," Jinwoo reported, his voice steady despite the fear in his eyes. "They're powering up weapons." "Sung Ho, status?" Tae Yang asked. From the engine room came Sung Ho's confident reply. "Reactor is at 100% and ready to go higher. Just say the word, Captain." "Hyejin, what are we looking at?" Hyejin studied her sensors. "Their shields are military grade, much stronger than ours. They have 12 weapon systems to our 4. Their armor is thicker. By every measurement, they outclass us completely." "But," Ta Young prompted, hearing the unspoken word, "but they don't know how humans think. They expect us to fight like other species. Careful and cautious. We're not going to do that." Tae Yang smiled. "No, we're not. Jinwoo, take us into the asteroid field. Maximum speed." The Busan's Pride surged forward, diving into the dangerous cluster of spinning rocks. The Blood Talon followed, firing its weapons. Plasma blasts lit up space, destroying asteroids in massive explosions. Jinwoo's hands flew across the controls. He threw the ship into a hard turn, missing a chunk of rock by meters. Another turn, then a roll, then a sudden dive. The G-forces pushed everyone back in their seats, but they held on. "They're still following," Hyejin said. "But they're slower. Those turns are hard for them." "Good," Ta Yang said. "Jinwoo, keep them chasing. Make them work for it." The chase through the asteroid field was like a deadly dance. Jinwoo piloted with instincts honed from years of flying in difficult conditions. He used the asteroids as cover, appearing and disappearing between the rocks. The Vrace ship was faster in a straight line, but it could not match the human ship's agility. Across the galaxy, billions watched in amazement. The small cargo ship was making a military warship look clumsy. "Captain," Velmara broadcast from his observation ship, "you are performing maneuvers that register 8 G-forces. How are you still conscious?" Tae Yang grunted, as another hard turn pressed him into his seat. 8 Gs is uncomfortable, but we can handle it. Earth's gravity trained us well." On the Blood Talon, the Vresh crew was suffering. Their bodies were not built for such extreme forces. The captain roared in frustration. "Stop playing games and fight us." "As you wish," Tae Yang said. "Jinwoo, position us behind that large asteroid. Hyejin, prepare all weapons. Sung Ho, I need a reactor spike on my mark." The Busan's Pride disappeared behind a massive tumbling rock. The Blood Talon moved to intercept, confident they had cornered their prey. Now, Taeyang shouted. Jin Woo reversed thrust and came around the asteroid from an unexpected angle. Hyejin fired all weapons at once. The railguns and missiles slammed into the Veer-Esh ship's shields. At the same moment, Sung-ho pushed the reactor to 130%. The sudden power surge channeled into one massive blast from their main weapon. The shot punched through the weakened shields and scored the Blood Talon's armor. "First blood!" Hyejin cheered. But the victory was short-lived. The Veer-Esh ship retaliated with a devastating barrage. Multiple plasma weapons fired at once, overwhelming the human ship's shields. Explosions rocked the Busan's Pride. Systems failed across the ship. Smoke filled the corridors. "Shields down," Hyejin reported. "Hull breaches on decks 2 and 3. In the medical bay, Nari was thrown against a wall. She pulled herself up, ignoring the pain, and ran to seal the breach in the nearby corridor. Emergency foam sprayed from her equipment, hardening to plug the hole. "Engine power at 70%, Sung-ho called out. His voice was tight with pain. "Something's damaged, but I can keep us moving." "Can you give me one more surge?" Taeyang asked. "Captain, if I push the reactor any higher, it might explode." "That's not what I asked. Can you give me one more surge?" There was a pause. Then Sung-ho laughed, slightly manic. "Yeah, I can give you one more. But it'll be the last thing this reactor ever does." The Blood Talon moved in for the kill. The Veer-Esh captain appeared on screen. "You fought well for primitives. Surrender now, and I will make your deaths quick." Taeyang looked at his crew. They were bruised, bleeding, and exhausted, but they were still fighting. They met his eyes and nodded, one by one. "Humanity doesn't surrender," Taeyang said. "We fight until we win, or die trying. That's what living on a death world teaches you." "Then die!" the Veer-Esh captain roared. "Jin Woo, ramming speed, Sung-ho, everything you've got. Hyejin, Nari, brace for impact." "Captain, what?" Jin Woo's eyes went wide. "You heard me. Ram them." Understanding dawned on Jin Woo's face. A wild grin spread across his features. "Ramming speed, yes sir." The Busan's Pride accelerated directly at the Blood Talon. The Veer-Esh ship fired every weapon, but the human ship kept coming. Hull plates tore away. Fires broke out in multiple sections, but the ship did not stop. Sung-ho pushed the reactor beyond all safety limits. 140%. 150%. Alarms screamed warnings that he ignored. The reactor core glowed white-hot. The watching galaxy fell silent in shock. The human ship was going to ram a military warship. It was insane. It was suicidal. It was the most Deathworlder thing anyone had ever seen. At the last second, the Blood Talon tried to dodge, but it was too slow. The Busan's Pride slammed into it with the force of a meteor strike. The collision destroyed the front of the cargo ship, but the impact penetrated the warship's shield envelope and crumpled its armor. Both ships spun away from each other, badly damaged. For a moment, space was silent except for the crackling of fires and the hiss of escaping air. Then the airlock on the Busan's Pride opened. Taeyang and Hyejin emerged in pressure suits, carrying weapons. They jumped across to the damaged Blood Talon and cut their way inside. The Veer-Esh crew tried to stop them, but they had been weakened by the collision. Taeyang and Hyejin moved through the ship with determination born from living on a world that tried to kill them every day. They fought through pain and exhaustion, refusing to quit. They reached the bridge and found the Veer-Esh captain struggling to stand. The captain looked at them with something like respect in its eyes. "How are you still fighting?" it asked. "Your ship is destroyed. You should be dead." "We're human," Taeyang said simply. "We don't know when to quit." The Veer-Esh captain made a sound that might have been laughter. "I surrender. You have won, Deathworlder." Across the galaxy, the news spread instantly. The humans had won. A cargo ship had defeated a military warship. The impossible had happened. 3 months later, Taeyang stood on Earth, looking up at the night sky. The Busan's Pride had been too damaged to repair, but it didn't matter. The ship had served its purpose. The United Earth Council had established formal relations with the Council of Worlds. Humanity was now an official member of the galactic community. The Viresh had honored their agreement, withdrawing from Tilleran space and accepting council oversight. Hyejin joined him, also gazing at the stars. Everything changed, she said. Humanity is part of something bigger now. Because we answered a distress call, Taeyang said. Because we helped strangers when we didn't have to. The other species still don't understand us, Hyejin said. They call us the Deathworlders. They fear us and admire us in equal measure. Let them call us what they want. We know who we are. Above them, ships launched from Earth's orbital stations, heading out to the stars. Humans and aliens working together. Trading, exploring, building a future. Jin Woo had become an instructor, teaching alien pilots human flying techniques. Sung Ho was sharing human engineering with species who marveled at its brutal efficiency. Nari was developing new medical treatments by combining human and alien knowledge. Do you think they'll ever truly understand us? Hyejin asked. Taeyang considered the question. Maybe not completely, but that's okay. We don't need them to understand everything about us. We just need to work together, to help each other. That's what being part of a community means. A shooting star crossed the sky, and Taeyang made a wish. Not for wealth or power, but for continued peace and cooperation among the stars. Velmara had told him something before they left the council station. You humans have a saying that we have adopted. Those who can help, should. It is now being taught to children across 47 worlds. You have changed the galaxy, not with weapons, but with your example. Taeyang smiled at the memory. Humanity had come to the stars not as conquerors, but as helpers. And in doing so, they had earned something far more valuable than fear or tribute. They had earned respect. The Deathworlders had found their place among the stars, and the galaxy was better for it. Somewhere in the darkness of space, a new distress call went out. And somewhere, a human ship changed course to answer it. Because that's what humans do. They help those who need it. It was the Earth way, it was the human way, and now it was becoming the galactic way.